During World War II, American soldiers had their first opportunity to interact closely with Red Army servicemen during the famous meeting on the Elbe on April 25, 1945. Over the following weeks, many aspects of Soviet soldiers' behavior and daily habits greatly surprised their overseas allies. Reports from the time, including an article from the New Yorker on April 28, described American astonishment at how well many Soviet soldiers spoke English, some with surprisingly good pronunciation. This was attributed to the widespread teaching of foreign languages in Soviet schools. In fact, as early as the late 1920s, the Soviet Union launched a campaign to introduce foreign languages to the masses, with a 1929 decree increasing the number of foreign language classes in schools. Americans were also surprised by how Soviet soldiers referred to Western goods. Any foreign toothpaste was called Obsedant, and all Western cigarettes were simply Camel. Those who could not speak English at all often used the word Studebaker, the name of a highly valued American truck supplied to the Red Army, as a stand-in for OK. Another shock to the Americans was Russian borscht. US troops were amazed by its thickness and rich combination of meat and vegetables, especially when compared to the thin, watery soups they were used to. The habit of drinking tea with sugar held between the teeth rather than dissolved in the cup also fascinated them. Colonel General Gleb Vladimirovich Baklanov recalled joint feasts between Soviet and American soldiers. Americans marveled not only at borscht, but also at Siberian dumplings, claiming they had never tasted better food. According to the New Yorker, Soviet soldiers had an impressive ability to consume strong alcohol. While most Americans arrived at the meetings empty-handed, Red Army soldiers always brought their standard front-line 100 grams of vodka. One participant, Dilbert Philpott, recalled that after drinking vodka, the Russians challenged the Americans to a shooting contest using empty bottles as targets. The Red Army soldiers were also eager to trade or even give away items to their new allies. The swap without looking principle was common. And American soldiers took a keen interest in Red Army insignia, buttons, and pilotka caps. At times, in the excitement of friendly celebrations, American troops even tore souvenirs directly from Soviet uniforms. American soldiers also remembered the musical and festive spirit of their Soviet counterparts. Bill Chance recalled how the Russians loved to sing, dance, and play the balalaika. Red Army soldier Peter Sagan noted that the most surprising performance for the Americans was a lezginka dance, energetically performed by a Georgian soldier. Even high-ranking officers joined in the festivities. General Omar Bradley, commander of the 12th Army Group, wrote in his diary that Soviet commanders welcomed the Americans with a loud, cheerful reception, plenty of vodka, and endless toasts to victory. The most memorable night for the Americans was May 8th to 9th, after Germany's surrender. The Soviets threw a grand banquet where Marshal Georgy Zhukov amazed everyone with fiery dances, and General Vasily Chuikov performed an acrobatic flip, all after drinking 2 liters of vodka. American soldiers were intrigued by how Soviet troops handled wounds with resilience but were terrified of tetanus and typhoid vaccinations. They were also impressed by the Soviet Army's hygiene standards, noting how Red Army soldiers frequently washed and maintained cleanliness in their camps. Despite knowing about the Soviet Union's official anti-religious stance, Americans were surprised to see Red Army soldiers wearing crosses, carrying pocket-sized icons, and even handwritten prayers. The meeting on the Elbe left a lasting impression on both sides, proving to be an unforgettable moment of camaraderie between the Soviet and American soldiers. Warriors, please subscribe to my channel and put a like. Thanks.
Машины